Hi guys, welcome to Yvette Smiley's channel. Today I will be telling you about the tragic murder of Adjo Climbié. Please remember to like and subscribe. Adjo Climbié, born on 2nd of November 1991, was an 8-year-old Ivorian girl who was tortured and murdered by her great-aunt and her great-aunt's boyfriend. Her death led to a public inquiry, and produced major changes in child protection policies in the United Kingdom. Born in Abobo, Côte d'Ivoire, Adjo Climbié left the country with her great-aunt Marie-Thérèse Couau, a French citizen who later abused her, for an education in France, where they traveled before arriving in London, in April 1999. It is not known exactly when Marie started abusing Victoria, although it is suspected to have escalated to torture when Marie and Victoria met and moved in with Carl Manning, who became Marie's boyfriend. Victoria would be forced to sleep bound in a black bin liner filled with her own excrement in an unheated bathroom. They burned her with cigarettes and scalded her with hot water, starved her, tied her up for periods longer than 24 hours, and hit her with bike chains, hammers, wires, shoes, belt buckles, coat hangers, wooden spoons, and their bare hands. Whenever she was fed, she would be forced to eat like a dog. On some occasions the couple would throw food at her, and make her catch it in her mouth. On the 13th of July 1999, Marie took Victoria to the childminder, Cameron, asking her to take Victoria permanently, because Manning did not want her. Cameron refused to accept Marie's request, but agreed to take her for the night. Cameron, her son Patrick, and her daughter Avril, observed that Victoria had numerous injuries, including a burn on her face and a loose piece of skin hanging from her right eyelid, which Marie said was self-inflicted. Manning's account in the subsequent inquiry differed, and he said that he hit Victoria because of her incontinence, beginning with slaps, but progressing to using his fist by the end of July. It was highly likely that at least some of the injuries were the result of deliberate physical harm. The next day, on the 14th of July 1999, Cameron's daughter Avril took Victoria to see Marie Catter, a French teacher at her son's school. Catter advised that Victoria be taken to a hospital. At 11 a.m. the same day, Avril took Victoria to the Accident and Emergency Department of Central Middlesex Hospital. At 11:50 a.m., Victoria was seen by Dr. Rhys Bainan, a senior house officer in the department. Bainan took Victoria's history from Avril, and thought that there was a strong possibility that the injuries were non-accidental. The doctors alerted Brent Police and Social Services, and she was placed under police protection, with a 72-hour protection order preventing her from leaving hospital. Marie told the doctors that she had scabies, and that the injuries were self-inflicted. Many doctors and nurses suspected that the injuries were non-accidental. However, Ruby Schwartz, the consultant pediatrician and named child protection doctor at the hospital, diagnosed scabies and decided that it was scratching that caused the injuries. She made the diagnosis without speaking to Victoria alone. Schwartz later admitted that she made a mistake. Again on the 24th of July 1999, Victoria was taken by Marie to the Accident and Emergency Department at North Middlesex Hospital with severe scalding to her head and other injuries. Doctors would give a vivid description of Marie telling off Victoria, Victoria immediately jumping out of bed and standing to attention, so frightened that she wet herself. The hospital found no evidence of scabies. Consultant Mary Rossiter felt that Victoria was being abused, but still wrote, "able to discharge," on her notes. From then on, Marie kept Victoria away from hospitals, turning instead to churches. Marie said to the pastors that she was the mother, and that demons were inside Victoria. The pastor at the Mission Ensemble Pour Christ offered prayers for Victoria to cast out the devil, and thought that her injuries were due to demonic possession. On another occasion, Marie took Victoria to a church run by the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God, where the pastor, Alvaro Lima, suspected she was being abused, although he took no action. He said in the inquiry that Victoria told him that Satan had told her to burn herself. The pastor did not believe her, but he still believed that a person could be possessed. From October 1999 to January 2000, Manning forced Victoria to sleep in a bin liner in the bathtub in her own excrement. During a later police interview, Manning said this was because of her frequent bedwetting. At Haringey Social Services on the 1st of November 1999, Marie told social workers that Manning sexually assaulted Victoria, but withdrew the accusation the following day. On the 24th of February 2000, Victoria Climbié was taken, unconscious and suffering from hypothermia, multiple organ failure, and malnutrition, to the local Universal Church of the Kingdom of God. With the advice of the pastor, a minicab was called to send Victoria to the hospital. The minicab driver was horrified at Victoria's condition, and took her to the nearby Tottenham ambulance station instead. Victoria was rushed straight to the Accident and Emergency Department at North Middlesex Hospital. She was then transferred to the intensive care unit at St. Mary's Hospital. Climbié died on the 25th of February 2000 at 3:15 p.m. The pathologist who examined her body noted 128 separate injuries and scars on her body, and described it as the worst case of child abuse she had ever seen. Marie was arrested on the day that Victoria died, and Manning the following day. On the 12th of January 2001, both were found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge said to them, "What Victoria endured was truly unimaginable. She died at both your hands, a lonely, drawn-out death." Up to her death, the police, the Social Services Department of 4 local authorities, the National Health Service, the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children (NSPCC), and local churches all had contact with her and noted signs of abuse. However, in what the judge in the trial following Victoria's death described as blinding incompetence, all failed to properly investigate the case and little action was taken. After Victoria's death, the parties involved in her case were widely criticized. A public inquiry, headed by Lord Laming, was ordered. It discovered numerous instances where Victoria could have been saved, noted that many of the organizations involved in her care were badly run, and discussed the racial aspects surrounding the case, as many of the participants were black. The subsequent report by Laming made numerous recommendations related to child protection in England. Victoria's death was largely responsible for the formation of the Every Child Matters initiative, the introduction of the Children Act 2004, the creation of Contact Point, a database that held information on the contacts of the various children's services with particular children closed by the 2010 coalition government, and the creation of the Office of the Children's Commissioner chaired by the Children's Commissioner for England. That's all for today. Thank you for your time. Please remember to subscribe to my channel.